sit next to you, Coco.
Every Bluey fan knows that there are several amazing stories happening simultaneously in the show. But did you notice that a character whose name no one knew was crucial to the happy ending of the Healer family in the final episode of Season 3? Flappy. If you watched the episode Sign, you noticed how things magically fell into place so that everything worked out, and Bluey and her family didn't have to leave their home. And the big hero behind it all, believe it or not, was none other than Bingo. In the episode Slide, where the youngest healer and her friend Leela are playing in the family's backyard, we see the two friends save the life of a small caterpillar. And at the end of the episode, we see that the small caterpillar, after a few days, turns into a beautiful blue butterfly, which lands on the hands of the two friends as a thank you gesture. This same butterfly is none other than Flappy, who enters the healer's family vehicle while they are searching for Frisky. And thanks to her, Chili stops the car and sees the sign, which gives the episode its name and gets the idea of where the runaway bride is. Because of this, Bluey managed to place the coin that was stuck on the display at the lookout, which was later used by the couple who bought the healer's house. So, they managed to see Cornelius's house, which was for sale, and undid the deal.
Muffin?
Here.
Bingo?
Here.
And Bluey in the front.
Here.
And when Bandit received the news, he gathered the courage and tore down the sale sign once and for all. Everything contributed to making little Flappy the most unlikely hero of all time in Bluey.
What is this?
Get ready, because today we're going to reveal 8 background stories that no one noticed in Bluey. Captain and Mia. If you, like us, ship Bluey and Mackenzie, you surely watched the episode Barky Boats, where several exciting things happen. In it, we see Winton prophesizing the marriage of the two.
What is it? Ooh, Bluey's gonna marry Mackenzie. No, she's not.
But besides that, we end up meeting Mia and Captain, Bluey and Mackenzie's two friends. Right off the bat, we see that Captain does everything to get Mia's attention, and then he suddenly appears where she and Bluey are. But it seems he's not the only one interested, because Mia later leads Bluey to the two boys. So, something was starting to happen between them.
I don't know what I was thinking. Hi. Ah! Sorry, Mackenzie. What are you doing here?
So when we see them picking berries together and then talking about the future, it's evident that it's only a matter of time before they start dating. Calypso then explains to the kids how adolescence works, and in the end, we see the two little boats, named Mia and Captain by the kids, touching, indicating something like a kiss between them. After this episode, most viewers didn't realize, but we see the two together 2 more times at different moments. One of them is at the end of the Curry Quest episode, where they are talking very closely during the fair, and it really looks like Mia is totally smitten with Captain. And then we see them together in the field in the Cricket episode, where we see them playing with kids their age, like Rusty's brother. So it's clear that where one is, the other is too. Surely in the 4th season, we'll see the couple together more often, and maybe even holding hands, already as a couple. After all, these are surely the creators' plans for the show, and I'm really curious to see it happening. And if you also root for this couple to succeed, as well as some others in Bluey, put #love in the comments. Buddy and the Yogurt. Buddy is definitely one of my favorite secondary characters in the series, and it seems that's the case for the animators too, as we see him in several unusual moments throughout the series. One of them happens when the little pug and Bandit stare at each other in a very funny way when Dad is going to pick up his youngest daughter. And the funny thing is that this isn't the only strange scene involving the two characters. In the episode The Creek, we see that while Bandit is lying down at the end of the slide, the little dog waits calmly for him to move so he can slide down. The detail is that meanwhile, he does several funny things, like cleaning his finger with snot on the slide and even taking a nap, since Bandit doesn't seem to be moving anytime soon. We see that while everyone is playing, he has a plan and a mission to accomplish as if he were a secret agent. The pug's plan is to use a small ladder and put his hand inside the yogurt jar without anyone noticing. Right after, Buddy goes outside and alone, he starts licking his hand completely covered in yogurt. And he does this over and over again, until Chili finally puts the yogurt jar in the fridge, and he doesn't find anything anymore when he climbs the steps, putting an end to his journey of stealing yogurt in secret. It was good while it lasted, Buddy.
Hey, Scribe, got the microwave with the frost, mate. Here, I'm cooked.
Oh, man. Thanks, mate. Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Rusty's Shuttlecock. The cool thing about this episode is that several other cool and simultaneous background stories also happen. One of them is that Lucky and Rusty are playing, kicking a small shuttlecock through the kitchen window of the Healers as if they were playing rugby or American football. And Rusty always jumps out the window to get the shuttlecock and kick it again. The detail is that when Chili opens the fridge exactly to put the yogurt jar away, the shuttlecock ends up in the fridge without anyone noticing, and Rusty tries to find the toy, but doesn't. And exactly at that moment, Missy's toy cart bumps into Rusty's foot, and at that moment, we notice another cool background story happening too: Winton the Builder. Few people noticed, but from the beginning of the episode, Winton was trying to arrange building blocks to make a sort of toy skyscraper. But 3 times, Missy accidentally knocked down his toy building with the cart, and each time, the little bulldog would storm out and sulk. And this cycle only ends exactly when what we talked about in the previous point happens, where Rusty unintentionally prevents the cart from knocking over Winton's blocks, and then he finally manages to finish his artwork, and all the pups are amazed. Interestingly, at the beginning of the show, there was a hint about this moment. As we can see above, the title exactly Winton's blocks and Missy's cart. Coco and Winton. Speaking of Winton, we have to talk about another background story with the little dog, but it also involves Coco. We see in several episodes the two playing together with their friends and schoolmates. But it seems our dear Winton wants something more with Coco, as he tries to get closer to the pink poodle a few times. The problem is that she seems to want nothing to do with the little bulldog. In fact, if we observe what happens in the story's episode, we see that Coco even calls Winton's attention to behave. That is, not only does she not want anything to do with Winton, but she also scolds him. Really, it seems like the love life of the men in Winton's family is not easy at all. At least Cornelius apparently found his happy ending. We're rooting for the same thing to happen to Winton in the future. And who knows, maybe Coco will start seeing the little dog in a different light too. And as soon as any news about this comes out, the most likely place you'll find everything about it is right here on our channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, click on the button below now. Missy's story. We know Bluey has several playmates, but Bingo does too. And one of them is Missy, who has a very important role in the Pirates episode. In it, we see the little puppy overcoming her fears to finally play with the girls, and that's a very interesting detail that may be related to the little puppy's past. We see in the Pass the Parcel episode that when Lucky's dad tries to play a different game than the little puppies were used to, Missy runs sadly to her mother's arms. The detail is that while Missy is an Australian Terrier, we see that her mother is a Shiba Inu. And as we know, the parents of the characters in the show are always the same breed, which means Missy's mother is not her biological mother. This would indicate that Bingo's little playmate is actually adopted, and the fact that she's scared may be precisely because she hasn't always had a home, which may have made her fearful at various times in her life. That is, the stories of the 2 episodes are certainly related. Real estate agent. If you watched the 28-minute episode of Bluey, you met Bucky, the real estate agent who did everything to sell Bandit's house. What few people know is that actually, Bucky himself had already appeared in another episode called Dragon. When Bandit is drawing and we see him representing his past, he shows why he stopped drawing during his childhood. And then he shows that when he was 6 years old, he loved drawing cars, but a classmate named, guess what, Bucky, said that Bandit's drawings didn't look like cars. He then became sad and stopped drawing cars since then. The detail is that Bandit himself comments that currently Bucky is a real estate agent, and from Bluey's dad's tone of voice, it really seems that Bandit doesn't like Bucky much. It seems that hasn't changed, as whenever Bandit goes to talk to Bucky, his expression immediately changes, and no, it has nothing to do with selling the house, but with the fact that Bandit remembers that it's because of him that he felt bad and stopped drawing. Very few people remember this little detail, which is another very interesting background story from Bluey's show that is totally related to his father's past. That's really cool. The stories in Bluey are full of little details and very cool characters. That's probably why I never get tired of watching the episodes and videos of this show. And since you also enjoy watching videos, we've left these 2 options for you to choose from and to keep having fun.